kind. Those are all examples of groups of people, of American citizens, of human beings that are currently facing oppression in our nation. This is not a partisan moment. This is an American moment. And I need everyone here to hear a little bit about my story, not because I'm any more important than any of you, but exactly because I am not any more important than any of you. But I'm going to give you examples of how I started to get involved only in 2020. Whether you're here for the first time or the 500th time marching in the streets today, you are taking a very American action. Thank you for being here. But real and sustainable differences in change include marches like this, but they are not only marches like this. It is important that after this moment, we all make a commitment to dig down deep in ourselves and figure out how we can continue. Whether it's attending the next march, if you're comfortable, or whether it's doing some of the things I'm about to talk about, or both. In 2020, I was afraid. I was pregnant. I was hiding in my basement. I was one of those hide in the basement people in 2020. But I decided that I needed to make a difference. I was pregnant. I knew I was having a girl. And you may know what was going on, or you may not remember because it was a long time ago and a lot of things have happened between there. But I got involved, not because of a political party, but because of one very specific man that I knew in my heart, based on my education in political science, my career as an attorney, and my service in my community, that even back then, I knew he wanted to be a king. This is not about the people that voted for him. This is about the executive branch of the United States of America federal government. This is about we the people standing up for ourselves and governing ourselves. We are designed to be a self-governing nation. I'm glad to hear that, because the next thing I'm going to say is we're designed to be that way, but it's our responsibility to actually do it. And while some of us decide to run for office, from our amazing congresswoman that I'm going to introduce to you shortly, in federal government, fighting day in and day out for our rights in the federal government, one of the hardest places it is to be right now, to the people that run for school boards, for city councils, to our local law enforcement that is here protecting us today, to our people in this county that govern us. I decided slowly to make a career change. I didn't realize I was making a career change in 2020 when I was sitting in my basement and Googled a couple local organizations that I believe stood for what I stood for. And I got involved. It was slow. It was Zoom meetings, it was writing to elected officials, it was writing postcards, it was things like that. And then in 2021, when things were starting to reopen up, I took the next step. I used some of the connections I made to form a movement in this county to ask a branch of our local government to do a thing. We lobbied, and our county was the first to do that thing in this state, because we took coordinated action to decide we want to see something happen. We took the time to research what actual government body in this area could make the change we wanted to see, and we thoughtfully talked about how to peacefully and nicely and kindly and with positivity ask for the things we wanted. Now, we were getting screamed at by people that disagreed with us during this, but we did it together. And whether you know exactly what I'm talking about or not, and whether you agreed with me in that position or not, it does not matter in this moment. In this moment, we are deciding to self-govern ourselves. And there are ways to get involved beyond running for office, beyond working in partisan politics. Those are valid ways if that's the way you want to go. But for the everyday person, your lives are different. You don't have to be an attorney to get involved. You don't have to have a specific type of education or level of education to get involved. You just have to dig deep and start looking around and attending your local city council meetings, your local school board meetings, your township meetings, and decide where can you make a difference right now. Because these positions are just as important in this moment. Because when our government is functioning right, there are checks and balances, and we need people in those positions and watching those positions to make sure that if we do have someone in the executive office of the United States President trying to do more than the Constitution allows, that they're going to have the courage, regardless of their political affiliation, to say, no, that's not how this works here. We follow the laws that govern our government institution. So you have all decided to be here. We all have choices. Even when it feels like we don't have choices, you made a choice to show up today. And now I encourage you to make the choice, regardless of if this is your first time or your 500th time. You have the choice to keep showing up. Thank you for being here. Now I'm going to introduce someone that I am very honored to introduce today. Her name is Congresswoman Kristen McDonald-Rivet. And she is working hard in Washington for us. I know the news, the media, they're trying to divide us. They're trying to say, you know, this person voted for this one thing, so now they're with whatever side. But I want you to listen to the words that she says today. And the fact that she decided on today to be in this community that she represents. How brave she is for the things that she is doing. Just like you are brave for being here today. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to our representative in the United States Congress, Kristen McDonald-Rivet.
Nice assist from my husband here. Can we just say thank you to him for holding this? I cannot tell you how nice it is to be here with you all today, because this is what patriotism looks like. So before I start, can I get every single person to join me in thanking our law enforcement officers that are here in the heat, Thank you. So, it's a hard time in our country right now. We're divided. Protests are getting violent. The news from Minnesota yesterday was devastating. Makes these sorts of gatherings all the more important, because we know that the power of this country rests in its individual people, our individual voices coming together and saying no when our rights are being destroyed. So, I know it can feel hard, but I've got a couple of stories I want to share with you about where we make progress and why these kinds of demonstrations can change the course of directions from this administration. When the administration tried to quietly close the Social Security office in Saginaw, that would make it difficult for people with disabilities and our seniors who rely on that to get access to their benefits and to get access to information they vitally needed. We demanded answers from the administration. We didn't get them. So finally, we marched, we gathered, we brought people together with signs like these demanding that that office stay open and the administration folded. And just last week, when the administration tried to close the Job Corps program in Flint, a program that serves our at-risk kids, gives them job skills and puts them on a path to a brighter future, they tried to completely defund it. And let me tell you, there are a lot of kids in that program that are homeless, and they stay on campus. And when the administration said, we said, what do you think we can do with these kids? They live here, we are their support. They were told by the Department of Labor, drop them off at a homeless shelter. That was the direction from the federal government. So what did we do? We said, hell no. We marched. We had press conferences. We pushed and we took them to court. And the court said they had to keep the program open, and those kids are back in the Job Corps program today. So now the fight we are facing is the president's big, ugly bill. Who is right? Because what this is going to do is give the billionaires in our country a giant tax break. And how are those people how are we gonna pay for that? We're kicking people off health insurance. How many children have to go hungry so billionaires can get bigger tax breaks in this country? You want to cut Medicaid and SNAP, all the while running up the federal deficit by trillions of dollars, pampering our children in the future, while making sure that the people like us, the people who need these benefits, seniors who have worked for these benefits, are kicked off of them for the president's tax cut. We've seen study after study come out about this bill, and the analysis is clear. It will hurt poor and working people. But we can fight it, you all. We've had success. We can continue to have success. The administration is bound and determined to make life worse, but we are just as determined to fight back. So we need to not only fight here, we need to fight in every community. We need to fight in every state capital. We need to fight in Washington, D.C. to make sure that this country our democracy holds true. Every individual voice is allowed to speak, and that the principles of our country, standing up for one another, making sure that working people have the ability to live their lives, pay for their medicine, have health insurance, afford housing. These are the things that we stand for. There's not one thing moving for Congress that is actually going to make things cheaper for people in our communities. These are about tax breaks for the wealthy and taking food away from kids and kicking people off health insurance. We won't stand for it. So y'all, there is no place in this country for a king. There is no place in this country for lies. There's no place in this country for people's voices to be silenced. We cannot stay quiet. Every day, we need to march. We need to raise our voices and do what we can, and I will be right there with you every step of the way.
For the people, by the people.
Can you hear me? Thank you, Kristen McDonald Ribbon. Thank you so much for my hometown to our hometown. We're happy to have you in Washington representing us. Thank you so much. All right. We are just about at the end before we step off for the march. Treva's going to come back up after me and give some instruction on that. But right now we're going to do something a little bit participatory. If you've got, I think I've got it here. They were passing out constitutions at the table. If you've got this, there's a little thing in it called the preamble, and I think it's on some posters around in the audience as well. What I would like to do is just briefly read the preamble, and then we're going to go back, and if you are around my age, I'll be 64 this year, we had a thing called Schoolhouse Rock when we watched cartoons on Saturday morning back in the day, back in the 70s. But I'd like you all to join in with me to sing the preamble. If you know it, if you remember it, just join in. But I'm going to read it first, and then we'll sing it together. So the preamble to our United States Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And I need you to sing along to draw out my voice, so here we go. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.